Hi students! The last project we're going to do is project 6. And there's a lot of things we're going to do with this you're really going to like. We're going to simulate a walking environment. So we're going to use the character that we used in project 5. And we're going to make the background scroll. We have a stationary background here, that's sky. And we got another stationary background here that's white, that's land. Then we've got mountains that are moving slowly. And then we got a path that is moving much faster. This is what we're going to make in project 6. So we're doing in project 1. We're going to add our walking character from unit 5. And then we're going to make guidelines and mark the edge of the stage. So we're going to create our file. What we're going to do is we're going to click Action Script 3. We go File, Save As. We'll call this one Scrolling Scene. Now if you need to reset your stuff here, all you do is go over here to Window, Workspace, and make sure the check marks by Essentials, and then click Reset Essentials if you need to do that. Okay, now we're going to import our library. Go File, Import, Open External Library. I'm going to go to Project 5. And I'm going to open up my walk movie. Now if you had made a special character, you would open up that walk movie with a special character, okay? So then I just click Walk Cycle, put my character up here, and I can close this out. Now this character is pretty big, so maybe you want to decide to resize this character. So you might click over here in your free transform tool, click that, and then just hold your shift key down and make this smaller so it's not so big on the stage. Now you also want to move it down on the stage, so you come back up here, click the selection tool, and just drag him down to where he's at the lower part of the stage in the middle. You also want to name this layer 1 character. Then just click Enter and lock it. So we're going to add a new layer. We're going to be doing a lot of things with the grid in this particular layer because we're working with a background. We're working with a moving background. So you can turn on and off the grid. It's just a set of vertical and horizontal lines. It always has grids on it, but it's hidden. But you can measure things, or you can make objects line up to a grid line exactly. So we're going to show you how to turn those snapping settings on and off so you can line up objects with grid lines. So let me show you how you do that. You can go View, Grid, Show Grid. There's your grid. Turning it off the same way. View, Grid, just take the check mark off when the grid is gone. Now we're going to change our Snap To settings. We're going to go View, Snapping, Edit Snapping. Make sure these others are out and click Snap to Grid and click OK. So the only one you have checked is Snap to Grid, and just click OK. Last time we used guidelines to mark the ground so our character didn't, his feet didn't do weird things. They stayed on the ground. Now we're going to mark the edge of the stage so we know exactly where it is, even when we overlap it with our drawings. So now we're going to turn on our rulers. We're going to click View, Rulers. And I'm going to do our guidelines. I zoomed out a little bit, so now I'm just going to drag the ruler down, mark the very edge of the stage. On the bottom, very edge on the top. Very edge on the left. Whoops. And very edge on the right. Now we've got our stage marked off. All you have to do is test your movie and save your movie, and you're into Lab 2. Now comes the fun part. In Lab 2, we're going to make the sky and land. For this project, we're going to make scrolling layers. Our most distant layers are going to scroll slowly, and our closer up layers are going to scroll more quickly to give the illusion of 3 dimension. The sky and the land are going to be fixed layers. They're not going to move. So they're going to be plain colored, and they're not going to have any details on them, so we can make them stay in place. The other layers are going to move. Now I'm going to add a new layer and call it sky. Here we go. Now drawing the sky, I want to make sure that I have my snapping settings. Now we did this before, but we'll make sure that they're right. So go to snapping and make sure that when you edit snapping, you have the snap to grid setting selected and nothing else. Now I click my rectangle tool. I make sure I'm going to put a no stroke color and a blue color for my sky. Okay, here's the blue color. Click this, and we'll make sure that I have no stroke selected up right here. Now I'm going to draw my sky. Of course, it's going to cover my man because the layer is over him. With my snap settings on, it snapped it directly to the size of the stage. Now I'm going to turn the sky into a symbol. I click in frame 1. I click modify, convert to symbol. Make sure this says movie clip. Then I just call the sky. Now I'm going to position and lock the sky. So I'm going to drag the sky underneath the character, and I'm going to click the lock button. Now I'm going to add the land layer. Click add a layer button. Call this one land. So now I'm going to make the rectangle that is the land. So I click on the rectangle, and I just click my color down, click a color for the land. Make sure I have no stroke. Click the stroke button, click no stroke. Now I'm going to draw the land. I'm going to go click over here, about midway up. Then I'm going to draw across. I'm doing this by candlelight now. We lost power. So let me see, we're going to position the land. We're going to put the land, it's where it needs to be, right between the sky and the character. So we're just going to lock it. And we're going to make the land into a symbol. So I click the first frame, unlock that. Thank you. We go modify, convert to symbol. We call this one land. Then we save it. We test our movie, and we're ready for project 3. So now I'm going to add a new layer and call it background. I'm going to position it above the character and everything. So we make our first scrolling background. This background layers between the sky and the land. And you can call it whatever you like. You know, you can do mountains, you can do clouds, you can do buildings. What you're going to do is you're going to, of course, you drag this to above all the other layers so you can see what you're doing. But you have to stay within the boundaries of the stage. You can't go over the stage in your drawing. Now, in order to make this really scroll, I got to add a rectangle on the bottom. Now, what I did was I used a radial gradient, and I made the shadow towards the bottom. You can do this any particular way you want. It's up to you, okay? But what you need to add on this layer is a rectangle on the bottom that perfectly fits, to the lines here so that it will scroll. So what I need to do is make sure my settings are right for my snapping. So I click View, Snapping, then I click Edit Snapping, and I make sure this is snapped to grid. Now this is going to be hidden underneath this sand over here, this land, so it's not going to matter what it looks like. So I'm going to just put it, but it's going to be all the way to the corner here and about halfway up, this rectangle. So I'm going to click here in my circle, and I kind of come over, get my rectangle tool, and I'm going to draw it down here. Very careful to line this exactly up. Now I'm going to convert this to a symbol. Click down Modify. Oops, I need to select the land first, don't I? Background. Modify, convert to a symbol, call it background. Now I'm going to move this background layer between the land and the sky. And I can run my movie if I like. Nothing's going to happen yet. We haven't set it to scroll, but this is what it looks like so far. I can see my control. This is hard to do by candlelight. There you go. You save it, and you are done with Lab 3.